Okay, so
Yeah. Right, sir. Now, answer number one. What classes are allowing, what abstract classes are allowing, and what interfaces are allowing? Tell me now, classes are able to allow only concrete methods. Am I right or not? Classes are able to allow only what their concrete methods. Abstract classes are able to allow both concrete methods and what next one again? No, abstract methods. Both are allowed. Both are allowed here. Observe carefully. But what about these interfaces? No, interfaces are able to allow only abstract methods. But one exceptional case I'm telling to you, in the latest versions of the Java, concrete methods are also allowed in the form of default methods, static methods, and private methods. Only these three are allowed. Other than these three, no concrete method is allowed inside the interfaces. The latest version, right from Java 8 and Java 9 versions onwards, this type of thing is going to be happen. Right, sir. Next one is after that, after completion of this. Second difference I'm telling to you, how we are able to declare all these three. Right, sir. Now, to declare classes, what keyword is required here? Class keyword. To declare classes, class keyword is required. Next one, to declare abstract classes, we have to use which keyword? You know, abstract keyword along with the class keyword. To declare abstract classes, what we require here? We require to declare classes, a class keyword is required. To declare abstract classes, we have to use the abstract keyword along with the class keyword. Next one, after this, to declare interfaces, we need what keyword? You know, interface keyword. We don't require what their class keywords. We should not say interface along with the class. We have to say only what their interface keyword. Right. So this is that what exactly the second difference here we understood. Let's come for this third point here. All of you observe this clearly. In third difference here, what next one here I'm telling to you. Listen carefully. In interfaces, by default, all variables are public static final. By default, all variables are what? They're public static final. Okay, but what's the point I'm telling there? No default cases are existed for the variables in classes and abstract classes. Has got my point or not? No default cases exist for the variables in classes and abstract classes. Similarly, what is that another point here I'm telling there? Observe carefully. Then fourth one is what there? In interfaces, by default, what next one now tell me? By default, all methods are public and abstract. Public and abstract. By default, all methods are what there? Public and abstract. No default cases are exist. No default cases exist for methods in classes and abstract classes. Yes, all of you get my point or not? In interfaces, by default, all methods are public and abstract. No default cases exist for methods in classes and abstract classes. Right, sir. These are about like what are the default concepts here we can understand. Next one, now tell me, you only tell me, but here I need to give this point here as a third point actually. Third point here, what I am trying to say there, for classes only, we are able to create both reference variables and objects. Am I right or not? For classes only, we are able to create both reference variables and objects. But for abstract classes and interfaces, interfaces, we are able to create only reference variables. Only what they're reference variables. We are unable to create objects. For abstract class and interfaces, we are able to create only reference variables. We are unable to create what their objects. This is the third point. Alright, sir. Then fourth and fifth here we are given there. Then the sixth point here, what I am telling to you. In the sixth point, observe carefully. This is somewhat theoretical, but when we go for application development effectively, there we can see this advantage here. But the point here, what I am telling to you, classes are able to provide less shareability. Are able to provide what there? Less shareability. Next one, abstract classes are able to provide middle level shareability. Interfaces are able to provide more shareability. Yes, sir, got my point or not? This is another difference here we can understand. Interfaces are providing what there? More shareability. But in effective application only we are able to use this, but then we can understand clearly. Alright, sir, next one. More code related differences here if you want to observe this. Code related differences here if you want to observe this. Observe carefully. Classes and abstract classes are able to allow only one superclass. Get my point or not? Classes and abstract classes are able to allow only what there? One superclass. Not allowing more than one superclass. Am I right or not? But not allowing more than one superclass. But what about these interfaces actually? Interfaces are able to allow one or more super interfaces. So, all of you getting my point or not? In the point of interfaces, we can extend more than one interface to a single interface. Get my point or not? But in the case of classes and abstract classes, more than one superclass is not allowed. More than one superclass is not allowed. Understand it clear? Next one. Code related points. If you have to do this, another difference here I am telling to you. Constructors are possible in classes and abstract classes. Okay? Constructors are not possible in interfaces. Am I right or not? I think so you may struck it at this point here, abstract classes. Constructors are possible in what there? Classes and abstract classes set you. Up to classes, okay. But for abstract classes, we are unable to create objects. But still you are saying that constructors are allowed. This may be a question for you. In the interfaces, no chances of providing what there? No. Constructors. No chances of providing what there? Constructors inside the interfaces can no. Right, sir. I will check with you. I'll give some example to you, try to understand this example. I think so. I copied this example, right, in our document. Copied or not? Interface side. That's okay, fine. Let me do some workout here. By that, we are able to get some clarity. What's our question here? You are very much familiar with the constructors inside the classes. Don't have any problem. Am I right or not? What we are thinking about it now? Constructors in what there? Abstract classes. Okay. So for example, I have taken abstract class A. What have you taken there? Abstract class A. Int I is equal to 10 now. Int j is equal to 20. Is it got it or not? Okay, now. First of all, okay. Normal class I am taking now. Normal class where int I is equal to 10, int j is equal to 20. Am I right or not? Okay. Now this is what their main class and main method. A small a is equal to new a, object I created. Okay. Now tell me, I'm asking one question to all of you. Where this I and j variable values will be stored? Where this I and j values will be stored? Inside what there? Object. Am I right or not? Inside the object. We created object here. Inside the object only, I variable value and j variable value both are going to be stored. Am I right or not? Okay. But remember carefully. If you want to store I variable value and j variable value inside the object, first I variable and j variable must be recognized in our program or not? Instance variables must be recognized in our program or not? When these instance variables are recognized, when these instance variables are recognized? That's the question. Right. Answer for this question is what there. Just before executing the respective class constructor, instance variables are recognized and they will be stored inside what their objects. Just before executing the constructor, instance variables are recognized. This is the point here we have to understand. Okay. So anyway, I have not written constructor here so far, but I am calling one constructor. Which constructor here we are executing now? Come on, I have not written any constructor, but which constructor is executed here? Default constructor is executed. What constructor is executed there? Default constructor is executed. Okay, right. Default constructor is executed. Just before executing default constructor, instance variables are recognized and initialized. For example, if I provide a constructor here like this, Cessna dotted println of acon. Cessna dotted println of acon. Now tell me, what is the execution order here? First, instance variables are recognized. Okay, then after that, constructor will be executed. Sir, how can you show the proof now? First, instance variables are recognized and initialized. After that, constructor is executed. You are saying that. How can I trust this point here? If you think about it, I will go for it. I and J directly literals I have taken here. That's why I'm unable to show that exact flow of execution. But I want to change it. What I want to change there, let me remove this for example. Let me remove this. In place of 10, what I want to there, I want to call M1 method. Then I will define this M1 method here, int M1 method, and it will return what there, no, return 10. Then if it is a method, no, I can show like what there, M1 here. That means if we call this M1 method, automatically M1 here output we are able to get return 10 value. That means previous int I is equal to 10, through M1 method returning 10 both are same. But if I take M1 method, there I can display some value. Something I can display to check whether this method is executing or not. Get my point or not? Okay, now check this one. If I run this program, what is that output here we are getting there? If I run this program, what is that output here we are getting there? First here we are creating an object. We are calling constructor, but just before executing this constructor, what it has to recognize and initialize? Instance variable must be recognized and initialized. Part of initializing instance variable, what is available here? M1 method call is available. M1 method call is executed or not? Executed. By the execution of this M1 method, what output we are getting there? M1A. M1A return 10. The 10 value will be assigned to what variable? I variable. After that only, after completion of this only, constructor will be executed. So overall, what is the flow of execution for this? What is the flow of execution for this? M1A, acon. M1A, acon. Now tell me, who are recognized first and who are recognized next? Instance variables and constructors, if you have to this, first instance variables are recognized. After that only, constructor will be executed. So here the point what I am telling there, really we are calling constructor part of the object creation. But just before executing constructor, all instance variables are recognized. So constructor is mandatory or not? To recognize instance variables, constructor is mandatory or not? To recognize instance variables, constructor is mandatory or not? Okay. Keep this point in our mind. Now, lies. Now observe carefully. Listen carefully now. One more point, internal point I am telling you, try to understand it. Class A I have taken. Class B extends to A. Okay, superclass and subclass I have taken. Int I is equal to 10 now. Int J is equal to 20. Now here, I want to create an object. B small b is equal to new b. Object I created. I'm asking strictly one question to all of you guys. In B class object, how many variables data will be stored? In a B object, how many variables data will be stored? Only one variable, J variable value, or both I and J? Right, sir. Now tell me, only only J variable or both I and J? Both I and J. Am I right or not? Okay, nice. Definitely, both values are stored inside the subclass object. Okay. But I said you one point there. If you want to recognize instance variables, what is required? Constructor is required. Have I provided any constructor? No. But constructor is available or not available? Available. In both the classes, constructors are provided by compiler. Which constructors are provided there? Default constructors are provided. Okay, fine. Now observe carefully. By the execution of default constructor only, we are recognizing all these variables. Say for example, I want to provide like what there, B class constructor here I have written, sys.out.println of bcon. Similarly, in A class also I am trying to provide what there, A class constructor, sys.out.println of, then A con, here we are able to provide. Guys, observe carefully. Now tell me, what I am telling there, I said you just before executing your class constructor, instance variables are recognized and initialized. That's what I'm telling to you. Now try to understand this clearly. I want to show proof for this particular one here. How, sir? Now I want to execute this. When we execute this, what output here we are getting there? Now tell me, A con and B con. That means first which construct is executed here? Before executing subclass constructor, superclass construct is executed. Why? Because in order to recognize what there, superclass instance variables, in order to store that in a subclass object. After that, subclass constructor is executed in order to recognize what there, subclass instance variables, and in order to store that variables inside the subclass object. Understand my point or not? So, if you want to keep superclass instance variables inside the subclass object now, definitely superclass instance variables must be recognized. To recognize superclass instance variables, what is required here now? Tell me, constructor is required inside the superclass or not? Constructor is required inside the superclass or not? Then only instance variables of the superclass will be recognized. Then only instance variables of the superclass will be stored in a subclass object. So whatever it may be, in a superclass, constructor is mandatory. In a superclass, constructor is mandatory. Get my point or not? Even if you are not providing any constructor, compiler will add what they know, zero argument constructor. That is what their default constructor. Right, so that's the point I'm telling them. But still, if you want to get clarity, I will give some explanation. What is that experiment here? In place of 10, I want to call what method here? M1 method. Here I will define what there into M1 method. Then here I'll display the data for the sake of my confirmation M1A. Then after that I'm going to return what there no, return 10 here we provided. Similarly, in a subclass also here 20 is available. In place of that I'll call this M2 method here into M2 method here sys.out.println of M2B and return some value here I want to provide 20. Finally, I variable value is 10, J variable value is what there 21. But by calling these methods, I can display something and command prompt to check this particular variable is recognized. Now tell me here, if I execute this program, what output here we are getting, sir? Now tell me. If I execute this program, what output here we are getting there? First flow of execution will come to main class and main method, where we are creating object for what there subclass. Subclass object has to be executed. But before going to execute subclass constructor, JVM has to check and execute what there superclass constructor. Before executing superclass constructor, JVM has to recognize and initialize what there instance variable. Part of initialization calling what method here? M1 method. M1 method will be executed. So first output is what there? M1A. Return 10. 10 value will be assigned to what there? I variable. Completed. Next one is what there? Constructor. Constructor will be executed. A-con. First output is what there? M1A. Next one is what there? A-con. When subclass constructor is executed, then immediately flow of execution will come to what there? Subclass constructor. Before executing subclass constructor, instance variables of the subclass will be recognized. What's the value for this instance variable of the subclass? No, J variable. As part of initializing J variable value, M2 method call is identified. M2 method will be executed. Flow of execution will come to what there? M2 method, where SOP of M2B. M2B output we are able to get return 20. 20 value will be assigned to J variable. Then next immediately what's going to be executed here? No, constructor will be executed. By the execution of this constructor, we are getting what output here? Beacon is an output here we are getting. What is that overall output here we are getting from this program there? Overall output is what there? M1A, A con, M2B, B con. Observe this output. By seeing these outputs, at least we can understand before executing a particular class constructor, instance variables are recognized and initialized. So to recognize and initialize superclass constructor, superclass instance variables, constructor is mandatory inside the superclass or not? Constructor is mandatory inside the superclass or not? Yes, sir, all of you are getting this point or not? Now let's come for our point here. Actually, for what purpose we are discussing there? No? Constructors are possible in classes and abstract classes. Now I'm talking about it. Why constructors are mandatory in the case of abstract classes? In general, we are not creating object for abstract classes. So what is the need of the constructor? That point here I'm telling you. Right, here the point is very clear. Finally, almost all I'm giving the conclusion here. Here the point is what there. I want to make this class A as what there? An abstract. I want to make this class A as what there? An abstract class. In abstract class, we can declare instance variable or not? In abstract class, we can declare instance variables or not? That instance variables data must be stored inside the subclass object or not? If you want to store abstract class provided instance variables data inside the subclass, but first we have to recognize abstract classes provided instance variable or not. To recognize the instance variable of the abstract class, what is required inside the abstract classes? No, constructor is required. Either you can provide that constructor or compiler will provide some constructor, whatever it may be. Finally, what we require here, no, constructor is required inside the abstract classes. Now tell me, constructor is possible or not possible in abstract classes now? Constructor is possible or not? As possible inside the abstract classes. That is the reason why I given this particular point here. Understand it? This total analysis is required for you. So finally the point is what there? Constructors are possible in classes and abstract classes. Constructors are not possible in interfaces. Why constructors are possible in the classes and abstract classes? No, in order to recognize instance variables data, in order to store that instance variables data inside what their subclass object. For the sake of that, constructor is required inside what their abstract classes. Yes, sir, got it or not? Again, the same point I'm asking to you. Why constructors are not possible in interfaces? Simply we understood the point here. Constructors are not possible in interfaces. But my question is, why constructors are not possible in interfaces? That point here we have to understand. Okay, I'll give some simple concept here. Now try to understand this concept. Observe carefully, guys. What is the point I'm telling to you? In a class, instance context is possible. In a class, instance context is possible. So we can create object to store instance context. Heap memory is possible. Heap memory is available to store instance context. Abstract class, instance context is available. That instance context must be stored. So object is required in the form of subclass object. Got my point or not? Moreover, constructor is also required in abstract classes to recognize instance variables, either to store that in subclass object or in somewhere else. That doesn't matter. But now tell me, in the case of interfaces, is there any chance to provide instance variables data? Inside the interfaces, is there any chance to have instance context? Instance context is not possible inside what their interfaces. Once instance context is not available inside the interfaces, no, then what is the requirement to use constructors there? The main intention of the constructor is to recognize and initialize instance variables or not. Inside the instance, inside the interfaces, no concept like instance variable. Only static variables part is available. Only static variables concept is available. No chances of what there, no instance variables. So when no chances of instance variables, no inside the interfaces, no chances of writing what their instance variables, no. Then what is the requirement of recognizing that instance variables, and what is the purpose of providing constructor inside the interface? If instance variables are not available inside the interface, no, then what is the need of maintaining what is the need of maintaining constructors inside the interfaces, no? What is the need here? What is the need of it, no?
Work status
Yes, all of you are getting this point or not? So this type of problems here we are able to get this. So because of that reason, I'm telling to you, constructors are possible in classes and abstract classes, but constructors are not possible in what their interfaces. This is one point here we have to understand. Next one is, all of you have to carefully. I think you all aware about static blocks. Am I right? Static blocks and instance blocks. Yes, sir. Are you aware about these instance blocks? No? Static blocks and instance blocks are possible. Static blocks and instance blocks are possible in classes and abstract classes. Static blocks and instance blocks are possible in classes and abstract classes. But static blocks and instance blocks are not possible in interfaces. That's it. This is one point, but I want to show one more point in my program, guys. 1 minute. The program is okay. Let me show one more point here. I forgot to specify that point here. Okay. This is a program actually. Here we declared X variable or not? What is that X variable by default? Public, static, final. Overall, in how many ways we are able to access that X variable? Right. Let's see this one. In how many ways we are able to access this X variable? System.out.println. But by using interface name, we can access X. System.out.println. By using implementation class name also, we can access X variable. Implementation class is having same power of subclass. What we declared inside the interface, no, automatically they are coming to what their implementation class here. Next one is system.out.println of. By using interface reference variable, we can access X class. X value. System.out.println of, then A. That means a small a dot X. By using implementation class reference variable also, we are able to access what their X value. Is that got my point or not? Now, in these many ways here, we are able to access that X variable. Here, we are able to get all times what value here, no? 10 value here we are getting. Now, this is the point here I want to show. Actually, I forgot to specify this point here. Right, now. Same program with the differentiation I want to. Right, only these things here I provided. That's okay, fine. Right, sir. Then these are the various points here I'm telling to you. Static blocks and instance blocks are possible in classes and interfaces. Static blocks and instance blocks are not possible in interfaces. This is another point here I'm telling you. Next one is, apart from that, shareability related point already given there. Max, these are the points here we can understand about our content, guys. Observe carefully. Then after that, after completion of this particular topic, next we have to go for what there after completion of this. Then we need to go for, as per the prerequisite order, next topic is what there, static keyword only. Am I right or not? So overall, containers topic here we understood there. What are the various containers are available, guys? Now tell me. Class, abstract class and interface. So these three analyses here we understood clearly. Right, sir. Sir, why static blocks are not available in interfaces? Yeah, this is a question, valid question, but answer you have to say. Interfaces are against for implementations, right? Static block is implemented one or not? Body is mandatory inside the static blocks or not? So interfaces are against to the implementations. So why we are going to put static block and where some implementation, no? Not possible. That's why static blocks and instance blocks are not allowed inside the interfaces. But these are allowed inside what their classes and abstract classes. Right. That's the answer here. The next one is what? Next one here we have to understand static keyword. That's it. Next one is like what there? Static keyword. Right. Understand it. What is the static keyword actually? What is the meaning of the static keyword? What is the purpose of the static keyword? In Java applications, static is a keyword. It is able to improve. It is able to improve shareability. It is able to improve what there? Shareability. How it able to improve shareability, we are going to see in the next concepts here. But its main intention is what there? Shareability. Nice. In how many ways we are able to use static keyword in Java applications? No. In Java applications, in how many ways we are able to utilize this static keyword? In Java applications, we are able to utilize static keyword in the following 4 ways. What are the 4 ways of providing the static keyword in Java? First one is what there? Static variables, static methods. Right, sir. Next one is what there? Static blocks. Then after that, static import. That's it. Observe carefully what I am telling there. Yeah, that's what I am telling there. In Java applications, static keyword is a keyword. It is able to improve shareability. I said to you, I want to explain that. But when we want to explain that, we have to take either of this. Then only we are able to explain. Especially we are able to take what there? Variables can. There I am able to explain that. Then wait up to the time. Definitely I'll explain that. Static inner classes also, but that will come under inner classes topic. In the concepts clarity, that my concepts of division is available. Inner classes topic, we are able to understand what there? Static inner classes there, not here. But mainly in object orientation, static keyword, if you observe this, these are the 4 options. Here we are able to utilize the static keyword. What are the 4 options here now? Static variables, static methods, static blocks, and what next one? Static import. For my JDBC applications, how much we require here? Up to these 3 only we require. When we don't require what there? Static import is not required. When we don't require what there? Static import, just we require only what there? Up to these 3 parts. Sir, all of you are getting it or not? Okay, fine. Now here, let's move under like what there? Static variables. Static variables. Alright, then can I discuss this topic on tomorrow? Static variables. Even if I start it, it may take nearly then 15 to 20 minutes of time I have to put for it, right? Can I discuss this topic on tomorrow? Right, I'll see the static variables and static methods, maximum, these concepts on tomorrow. Then once we completed this, then I'll move on to the class.forName method, new instance method. So gradually, one by one, all of them, I'm going to complete there. Once if I completed all the prerequisite part, then I will start what there. Then I'm going to start what there? JDBC. Officially, I'm going to start JDBC. Okay? Then one more point. Observe carefully. This Saturday and Sunday workshop topic is what the reflection API and annotations. We need this for online link. These are details, all details here we provided. Got it now? Then one more small announcement to you guys. Actually, for my core Java students, I'm taking GUI topics, AWT and Spring. We have GUI topics, AWT and Spring. For my core Java students, I'm taking these classes there. Okay? At what time I'm taking these classes now, these are not much important. But in JDBC, I'm going to use them. Guys, observe carefully what I'm telling you. In JDBC, I'm going to use them. So, for my core Java, in my core Java, these topics are coming actually. I'm taking GUI classes as special classes. I don't want to put much time for them, but I need to complete them. Special classes in online, completely in online, completely in online. From next Monday onwards. Next Monday onwards. But what is the time for it? At what time I'm going to take it? No, next Monday onwards at 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Answer my point here. Nearly it may take 15 days of time to complete this GUI part. But that 15 days of time, I don't want to waste in my regular classes at 8:30. 8:30 to 10, my core Java class is going on there. So there, I'm starting collection framework there, but I don't want to disturb the classes there. That's why I'm planning for the GUI part, unimportant part. At what time there? No, 9 to 10 p.m. So what I'm telling there, in JDBC, even this topic is also required. I'm giving open link for even for this topic also. What is the link here? We have to use there. The same workshop link here we have to use. Same workshop link here I'm going to use. The same link. No changes on this link here. Same link I'm going to use at night 9 o'clock. 9 to 10. Every day 1 hour class there. So then I recommend it to all of you. Try to come for even this class also. There we are able to finish AWT and swing. Why? Because in JDBC I need to use these concepts from core Java. Why? Because I'm going to prepare the backend JDBC code, but I want to show some examples with the front end also. With the front end JDBC code also, I want to show. Just like one example I want to show with you how JDBC program I'm going to prepare there. Just 1 minute, guys. One example is already available with me. I want to execute it. Then if you see that, where that AWT swings I'm going to use, so that we are able to get some clarity. That's why we are planning for this class. Definitely require this. Even this one also we have to understand. So, got it or not? Okay. Just one simple example I prepared actually. This example is we are not yet completed there actually. In the middle, I'm able to execute this. That example I want to show with you. Right, sir. Now this is the frame here I prepared now. SQL editor where I'm going to write some SQL query, execute button. It will execute that query. It able to give some results now. Understand it? What I'm telling you. Okay. In my database, some records are available. MySQL database I might be used there. How many records are available here? No, nearly 5 records are available in MySQL database. Now here, what I want to show there. Now here, I want to update all the records. Update SQL query I'm going to write. Update EMP1. Set ECL is equal to ECL minus 500, where ECL less than 10,000. That's my query. If I execute this, how many number of records are affected in the database? That value here I want to get. Let me execute this. How many records are affected here? No, 5. Okay, but for SQL, for select SQL query I have not implemented actually. That tomorrow I'm going to implement this one. Okay, now in my database, you can observe this. Previously 5565758595. Now this time we are getting what there? 56789. So getting the difference or not? Now how I am going to prepare this particular window? This window, label, SQL editor, text area, button. Then all the things are related to what there? AWT code only. So this is my JDBC live class at morning 7. It's going on there. So where this type of applications I prepared. So because of that reason here, what I am telling to you, without failure, try to attend these classes here. In JDBC also I am going to provide some integration applications. No, for that purpose I am taking these classes there. It may be useful for you. Try to attend for that class. What is the time duration for that here? At what time I am going to take that class there? If we have to this, right? The same workshop link we can use. Night 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. is the time there. Then we can attend for it. Right, sir? Now this is an intimation, this is an announcement here I have given to you. Now try to understand it. Link is not opened. No. 1 minute, yes. 1 minute. Let me check it. It's open. Free workshop link 8:30. Then we have to give all the details and click on register button. Already session is going on here. It will not come. Directly my desktop will not come with this one. Session is going on. So it's working fine, successfully. No problem. Right, then that's all for today. I'll meet on tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll go for the content, guys. Is this link is not working, guys? No? I need to change that link, but let me change it within 1 or 2 days of time. Yeah, it's open there. Classroom notes is open. Don't worry, this link is also be right. Okay? Here, some spelling mistake is available. Again, I will regenerate the link. Don't worry, but time being we can use this. After confirming all the people there, then I will change the link. Don't worry for it. Right, that's all for today. I'll meet on tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll start what is static keywords, static variables part. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Abhishek Sharma, then I will give information to you. Yeah, 7 to 8:30 classes I will give the date. From that we can attend for it. Don't worry for it. Okay. Right. అంతే కదా పాయింట్ అక్కడ మనకి ఆబ్జెక్ట్ దానికి ఎందుకు క్రియేట్ చేయమన్నా ఇప్పుడు జనరల్గా మనం ఆబ్జెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలంటే మనకు ఉండాల్సిన మినిమం కండిషన్ ఏంటి కంప్లీట్నెస్ ఉండాలి అండ్ అబ్స్ట్రాక్ట్ మెథడ్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా దానిలో ఉండవు కదా ఈవెన్ అబ్స్ట్రాక్ట్ మెథడ్స్ లేకపోయినా అన్ని కాంక్రీట్ మెథడ్స్ ఉన్నా సరే మన క్లాస్కి అబ్స్ట్రాక్ట్ కీవర్డ్ అనేది ఉంది కదా ఆబ్జెక్ట్ స్ట్రైట్లీ నాట్ పాసిబుల్ సో అక్కడ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేయట్లేదు కాబట్టి మన సబ్ క్లాస్ తీసుకుంటున్నాం సబ్ క్లాస్ అన్ని మెథడ్స్ని కాంక్రీట్ మెథడ్స్ లేదా తీసుకుంటున్నాం తర్వాత సబ్ క్లాస్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్లో అబ్స్ట్రాక్ట్ క్లాస్ ఇన్స్టెన్స్ కాంటాక్ట్స్ స్టోర్ చేస్తున్నాం అంతే దానికోసం then 7 to 8:30 AM classes I will give intimation to you, not immediately. It may take minimum 10 to 15 days of time. 10 to 15 days minimum it will take. Okay. Then after that I will give intimation to you, time to time. Don't worry, guys. Thank you. Thanks a lot. We'll meet on tomorrow.
హలో చెప్పండి. హలో అవునవును. ఫోన్పే చేస్తాను. మీ నంబర్ చెప్తారా? ఆ, ఆ, నంబర్ చెప్పండి. 7569175793. ఓకే, ఈ నెంబర్కి చేస్తాను. 150 కదా? ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు చేస్తాను. ఓకే.